Intermittent fasting helped me lose over 100 pounds, but on top of that, intermittent fasting also has amazing health benefits. But there is a right way and a wrong way to successfully intermittent fast. I'm going to explain to you guys exactly what to do and what not to do to be successful while you are trying to intermittent fast. Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Here we are again today with another video. If you are new to my channel and you don't know my story, I lost a total of 130 pounds by doing keto, intermittent fasting, and exercising in a fasted state. And one of the things that I do like talking about is intermittent fasting. When I started my weight loss journey, I had no idea how to lose weight, but I did go on a very big weight loss journey and I finally figured it out. So I am here to help you guys with your own personal weight loss journeys. So the textbook definition of intermittent fasting is when you abstain from food for a certain period of time, but during the times where you aren't eating, you can drink things with the exception to things that don't have any calories in them. There are different types of intermittent fasting methods, from the 16-8 intermittent fasting method all the way down to OMAD, or aka eating one meal a day. And it doesn't really matter what type of intermittent fasting method that you decide to choose from, but they do have different benefits depending on the length of time that you fast for. Today I am just going to be talking about intermittent fasting in general. I'm not going to really go into the specifics. I'm just going to be lining out the basics of intermittent fasting and what you should and shouldn't do while you are intermittent fasting to help you while you are on a weight loss journey. So the reason why we intermittent fast in the first place is to get our body into a state of ketosis. Ketosis is our natural fat burning state that occurs within us after 8 hours of consecutively fasting. This is where the 16-8, the most basic intermittent fasting method, comes into play. When our body is in a ketogenic state, it allows us to burn our fat for energy instead of sugar for energy. And this can be very beneficial in regards to weight loss because it can help us get rid of the excess fat without us even having to do a strenuous exercise routine. The reason why fasting can also be so beneficial is because it helps us with our blood sugar and our insulin. We cannot achieve a ketogenic state if we have high insulin. This is why the ketogenic state only occurs after our blood sugar goes down, and insulin only lowers after 8 hours of not eating anything. Even if you eat something small, even if you only have a snack, even if you have artificial sweetener, this can mess with your insulin. So that is why intermittent fasting is so beneficial. To properly intermittent fast, you have to not break your fast. And the way that you don't break a fast is by not eating anything. Any form of calorie will automatically break your intermittent fast just because it will automatically raise your insulin. You have to be in a ketogenic state for you to be able to burn any type of fat. So you have to be very careful in what you're doing, because I know a lot of people say, well, I'm doing everything right and I'm intermittent fasting, but I don't understand how come I'm not losing weight. You have to make sure that your insulin levels are lowered. Intermittent fasting also refers to the time period you are fasting for. So you can be fasting for 16 hours and only eating for 8 hours, but this is considered technically still the process of intermittent fasting. So I'm going to be talking about both what you should do when you aren't eating anything while you are intermittent fasting and the things that you should do while you are eating and intermittent fasting. So the first thing that you should do always when you are intermittent fasting, I say this in every single video, and it was the way that I did lose 100 pounds in 4 months, is by exercising in a fasted state. And this is because when you are intermittent fasting, the purpose of doing that is to lower your insulin and to increase fat burning by being in a ketogenic state. And if you are already burning fat naturally by being in a state of ketosis, exercising could help you accelerate your weight loss. Exercising fasted and eating only one meal a day, which is the most restrictive intermittent fasting method that there is, did allow me to lose weight very quickly. And on top of that, it allowed me to get a lot of the fat, aka inflammation, that was on my body. You don't have to exercise in a fasted state to be able to lose weight, but it will definitely speed up your progress and your results if you do it. Along with exercising in a fasted state, along with your exercise routine, it is also recommended that you do cardio mainly while you are in an intermittent fasted state. And this is because, yes, you can build muscle if you want to do that. But if you want to gain muscle, you also have to gain weight to be able to do that, which means you have to eat a surplus of calories, which means you have to do specific things to be able to build muscle. And if you are strictly trying to lose fat, that may not be the way to go. Cardio ensures that you are burning fat because you are just exercising your muscles. You're not really trying to gain anything while you are doing it. The next thing that you should do while you are intermittent fasting is always drinking water, coffee, or tea. Now you are going to have to do this just by default because to not break an intermittent fast, you do have to abstain away from calories. And the only things that don't have calories are things that have majority water in them, such as green tea and coffee. But if you drink green tea and coffee specifically, these things are completely made out of water, but in addition to that, they are all natural. Green tea and coffee naturally have caffeine within inside of them, and they don't have really high amounts to the point where it can hurt you. Green tea and coffee also help you speed up your metabolism. The next thing that you should do while you are intermittent fasting is spreading out your meals. So usually I talk about how I did OMAD, or AKA eating only one meal a day to achieve my weight loss goals, and I did do that because I had a lot of weight to lose. But usually if you are going on a weight loss journey, not a lot of people are trying to lose weight very quickly, and so I would recommend you spreading out your meals. More specifically, if you are doing something like the 16-to-8 intermittent fasting method, you should eat probably your largest meal at the beginning of the hour, aka 11 a.m., and then you should probably portion out your meals to make them smaller throughout the day, or right before you are ending your meal period, aka 8 p.m., 7 p.m. if you are doing the 16-to-8. Spreading out your meals can help you. Now, as I just mentioned, I did follow OMAD, or I only ate one meal a day to be able to achieve my weight loss goals. But if you are just getting started with weight loss, it may be extremely difficult for you to discipline yourself to eat only one time a day or to eat smaller portions. If you spread out your portions, and especially if your first meal is a really big meal and then your last meal is smaller, or the smallest meal that you have for the day, it can help you with satiation. And on top of that, you shouldn't have a really big meal right before you go to bed. This is because right before we fall asleep, our metabolism slows down. This is why a lot of people advise against eating at night, because when you do eat at night and you do snack at night, it does allow you to gain weight quicker because of that metabolic issue. So in my personal opinion, I would recommend if you are just starting intermittent fasting and jumping into a weight loss journey, you should spread out your meals. During your feeding window while you are intermittent fasting, the next thing that you should do is eat foods that have high fiber. Now, for example, some foods that have high fiber in them are avocado or nuts. These foods can be very beneficial to you because the more fiber that you have, the more satiated you are going to feel. And this is because fiber is naturally satiating and it does help with digestion. It is indigestible, but it also helps regulate our digestive system. Along with eating high fiber foods, the next thing that you should do during your feeding window while you are intermittent fasting is eating high protein. And this is because protein acts almost kind of the same way as fiber. Protein is naturally satiating as well, and it does stimulate our satiation hormone, which is ghrelin, so it allows you to feel fuller for longer. Currently, I am a vegan and I do eat very high protein. And I have to admit, it does allow me to feel fuller throughout the day. And also, if you can find anything that is protein based and that doesn't have excess processed food, sugar, or carbs in it, especially if you can find something like plant-based protein or any type of meat that doesn't have any added sugar or processed nature in it, that would be the way to go. And last but not least, the final thing that you should do while you are intermittent fasting is eating in the afternoon. Now, if you are intermittent fasting, as long as you are consecutively fasting every single day, it shouldn't be a problem. However, I find that it is harder to be able to stay on track if you do eat earlier in the morning. Think about it realistically. You're going through all of these activities every single day during the afternoon, and a lot of people, when they don't eat, they get kind of moody, they get irritated. That's why I always recommend the 16-to-8 intermittent fasting method. When you are eating from from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. because it could really help you feel fuller. And on top of that, it's more of a structured routine to be able to follow every single day, and it's more doable. Whereas if you try to eat at night, you might skip a meal. When I was on my weight loss journey, I did combine the keto diet with intermittent fasting, which allowed me to be super successful while I was on my weight loss journey. And I do have a playlist specifically dedicated to you if you guys are interested in trying the ketogenic diet. And on top of that, I do have a second YouTube channel where I talk about my life now and exactly what I eat now. I am a vegan and I do prioritize my protein, and it is how I maintain my weight loss results. On top of that, I am going to be coming out with a meal plan very soon that you guys can purchase for yourselves to follow during your weight loss journeys. You guys can check out more about that on my website. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.